Breaking news, your two-time Defensive Player of the Year, your two-time champion, your two-time Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard, is going home to play for the Los Angeles Clippers, and he's bringing a friend with him, and Paul George. We have a friend with us now on the show, the Jet, Kenny Smith. He's in L.A. where all the action's happening. Okay, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard teaming up. Did you see this coming?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles, and we had an earthquake, but I didn't realize this was it. There was an earthquake earlier, and my son Malloy, I'm shouting him out. He's like, "Daddy, you would never believe it." And I was like, "Nope, I wouldn't." And he told me what's going on. So shout out to Malloy for keeping close to what's going on, his ear to the NBA streets. No, I didn't expect that. Not both of them, no.
Well, when you see these two guys teaming up and you think of the wings around the league, are they the best 2 and 3 that we're going to see in the NBA next season?
Well, obviously, the team that plays in Staples Center right after them or before them are going to say, we got one of the best threes in the game ever. And he's still that, LeBron James. But what this allows the Clippers to do is also still get they have a really good team already. They have Harold, Montrell coming off the bench, Lou Williams, Patrick Beverly. And then all of a sudden, you throw those two guys in the starting lineup, and then let's say you grab some more free agents like an Andre Iguodala or someone else. You grab all of these great players, and you have arguably the same thing that Golden State Warriors had in the Western Conference, and same thing that Brooklyn is trying to do in a couple of years when KD is healthy.
So the Clippers were able to mortgage their future in a sense in giving up 4 unprotected first-round picks and another 2 more pick swaps and then 1 protected first-round pick and Danilo Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That sounds like a lot, but they do keep most of their roster intact. Like you said, Patrick Beverly, Montrezl Harrell, Lou Will. I mean, there's a lot of talent. They're all so deep. Would you agree?
Without question, but I never understood the concept of mortgaging your future when your future could be now.
Yeah.
So you could have 4 years right now that is actually, Kawhi Leonard, I think, is only like 27 years old, 28 years old. I think he's younger than that. Possibly.
He's 28. He's 28, yeah.
28 years old. And, you have another guy, Paul George, under 30. So you have your best 2 players, arguably, that will probably 3 and 4 in MVP voting this year, like under 30, like that's the future is now and here. Like you have a future now, and they're still young enough to play at a high level for 7-8 years.
Looking at what the Thunder did in the sense of giving up Paul George and getting a lot of future first-round picks, do you foresee Steven Adams, Russell Westbrook also being on the market?
I would say that there's going to be a conversation with Russell Westbrook about what we're doing, because I don't think at his stage of his career he's looking at it and saying, "Hey, I'm looking forward to rebuilding with some young guys who are trying to get some experience." That was the whole reason you brought in Carmelo. That was the whole reason you brought in, Paul George. You brought in guys who were veteran guys who were going for championship runs. So there will be a deep conversation, if it's not already been had with Russell Westbrook about the future of that franchise.
Sam Mitchell brought up an excellent point in the sense that when you look at historically in the NBA, guys want to be Lakers. The Knicks had a ton of cap space, but the top free agents went with the Brooklyn Nets and now the Los Angeles Clippers. Is it a new day in the league where you don't really look at the history, but you look at the possibility of what you can be to a franchise?
No, I think Sam is still old school. Because, in the last 10 years, guys have shown you that doesn't matter. Social media has changed the landscape of the game. Your information is instant to everyone around the world, which it wasn't only if you played in New York or Los Angeles when we grew up. But LeBron James went back to Cleveland. He went to Miami. He didn't play in the top markets, even though people like Miami as a vacation place. It's not a high market, in terms of a market. So no, guys have changed the landscape, through every social media channel. I can know exactly what's going on with you in that moment, and I can follow you. So, Paul George went to Oklahoma City prior to this. It isn't about small market, big market anymore. It's about, can I win? Oh, am I from there? And the biggest thing, those two guys are from this area in Los Angeles. I've seen Paul George since he was 12, 13 years old playing in, AAU basketball tournaments around here. And, and same almost with Kawhi Leonard being out here. So the call to come home was bigger than the call to stay. That's how I look at it, to me, the call to come home. And then you have, the ownership with the Clippers. You have a unique owner who can, have unique ideas and unique things for his team and his franchise. Why not?
Yeah, you mentioned LeBron going back to Miami, kind of setting the tone for this generation. Also coming home, that narrative worked well for him. Looks like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard will try to have that narrative work for them as well. Kenny Smith, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, only thing is now, man, me and you, we can't go to New York and leave Atlanta. Where they get we can't get the call to go home. Can't be bigger than the call to stay in Atlanta at TNT for us.
Oh, no. I think me going home, no one would pay attention to that anyway. Maybe you the star that you are, they'd pay attention to that. All right, Kenny, thank you. Okay, so breaking news more now with the Lakers, Wes Wilcox. What are you hearing?
So it's been reported that Caldwell Pope going back to the Lakers, 2 years, $16 million. If we're counting this up, adding it up as we go,
yep.
Danny Green, 15, $8 million or so for Caldwell Pope. Should leave around $11 million or so, maybe almost 13, depending upon how they do it. So we're seeing this come off the board. And this is what we talked about, plan B. What would happen with the domino effect of Kawhi, and we're seeing it happen really quickly.
So they seem to have the wing situation handled for the Lakers. Now, the rest of that cap room has to be spent on trying to get some help inside, correct?
You would think, well, they have the inside issue and they have a point guard issue, unless you're going to put LeBron at the point, which we know that's certainly an option, or it gets to that point for everybody. But yeah, and that's where you start to wonder, is it going to be DeMarcus Cousins? Is it going to be JaVale McGee? Maybe J. Michael Green? That at this point, people had to wait so long. This has been talked about a lot. The timing effect, it's hard.
And Green played for the Clippers last year, and clearly they don't have the cap space for him now.
Yeah, unless they use their room team exception, which they still have. 2 years, about $10 million, a starting salary of 4.7. So there's no doubt that they're going to be moving hard on this. And one of the things that's interesting, it's only midnight out there, or 12:30 or so. It is so late. Half the NBA is going to be asleep. Legitimately, half the NBA is asleep. And so I think about it specifically to Marcus Morris. He has his bird rights being held by the Boston Celtics. And if you're the Dallas Mavericks, who were supposedly
also
in the market,
have cap room,
also $23 million in room,
okay.
They were in the market for Danny Green. There's $11 million left in LA. You got to believe Marcus Morris is like the next best available player on the market. But the Boston Celtics have bird rights, which means they can exceed the cap to re-sign him. So these teams are going to be pushing to get this thing done, and some of the teams may not just be answering the phone.
Certainly the first domino has fallen, though, and what we were all waiting for. We talked about it earlier as far as the trades for DeAndre Hunter and Jackson Hayes as well. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, now members of the Los Angeles Clippers. A lot for us to discuss. Look, Donovan Mitchell. Oh, wow. I think what doll is that? Is that Ted from those movies? I don't know. It's a teddy bear, though. That wasn't a cake. It was just Woj. That's what Donovan Mitchell is saying. And Dwayne Wade, now that's what I'm talking about. The NBA, man, we know he's been involved in some big moves. LeBron James going back to Miami, or going to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, now members of the Los Angeles Clippers. Let's bring in Sam Mitchell, who's covering games out in Las Vegas for the NBA Summer League. Sam, you spent time in Toronto. We know what Kawhi Leonard has meant to that team in that city. What does it mean to the league to have him now going to play for the Los Angeles Clippers?
Well, I tell you what, man, think about two things in my lifetime. I always grew up where you say the Knicks, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Bulls, those were cornerstones franchises. And now when you look at Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving turning down the Knicks to go to Brooklyn, and now you're looking at Kawhi Leonard turning down Toronto, a team you just won championship with, and the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis to go to the Clippers. It just tells you, man, the power has shifted in the NBA. No longer are those franchises, can they rely on their name and their past to get things done? It's all about what have you done for me lately, and, man, this is shocking. There was an earthquake in Los Angeles, And we felt it here in Las Vegas, and then there's another earthquake with Kawhi Leonard choosing the Clippers over the Lakers and the Raptors.
Well, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, as far as defensively, getting their hands on balls and deflections in the league last year. I mean, these two guys are at the top 5 in the league. So having them on the same team with Patrick Beverley, what kind of, as a head coach, how do you look at them defensively?
Oh, man, you just think, oh, God, your man. Think about something. Kawhi Leonard is been talked about as the best two-way player in the league. Paul George was an MVP candidate last year because of what he did on both sides of the ball. And now you're talking about two guys that are 6'8", super athletic, and can both get 30 and shut down their guy. Then you throw in a pit bull like Patrick Beverley. If you're Doc Rivers, as creative as he's been with his teams in the past, if you think about what he was able to do with the Boston Celtics team defensively with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and those guys, and now you give him Kawhi Leonard, Patrick Beverley, and Paul George, and I don't know who's going to be left on that roster because I'm sure that was a haul that they had to give up in order to pry Paul George away from Oklahoma City Thunder. And then I'm sitting here thinking, what if you're Russell Westbrook? He finally found a guy that accepted him for who he is and appreciated him for who he is, and now that guy's been shipped off to the Clippers. So, man, the NBA has changed. I'm telling you, forget Summer League. I can't wait till the regular season because it's going to be an unbelievable season when you start thinking about all the teams that compete for a championship in the East and West.
Sam, the current players that were involved in that deal for the Los Angeles Clippers, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari, as well as 5 draft picks, including 2 pick swaps on top of those 5 draft picks as well. So a lot of picks involved for the Los Angeles Clippers and Oklahoma City Thunder. But let's also look at Toronto. They lose Danny Green, who's reportedly going to play for the Lakers. They lose Kawhi Leonard, who is your finals MVP. Where do they stand now as far as the Eastern Conference is concerned?
Well, I think they're still a playoff team. As tough as the East is right now when you start thinking about Kyrie Irving. I think for next year, I think they're still a playoff team. Obviously, they're not a top 4 team in the East like they were with Kawhi Leonard, but I still think they're a team that can compete for the 8th or 7th or maybe the 6th spot. And they got OG coming back, who's another promising young guy. But you start thinking about it, there is no replacement for Kawhi Leonard. Just think about it. You're talking about a guy, again, who is arguably one of the top 3 players on both sides of the ball in the entire NBA. You're talking about a guy who can guard all 5 positions, and you're adding that guy, Paul George, with him. Man, if you're Doc Rivers again, the Clippers just got to be ecstatic right now in order to it's not just get Kawhi Leonard, but your direct competition with the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And the fact that Kawhi Leonard chose the Clippers over the Lakers, that just tells you right now. It's just, now, again, the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference, there are ultimately 8 to 10 teams that could compete for a championship. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a wide-open NBA season coming up. And if you're the league right now, you got to be ecstatic about all the different teams and possibilities because the Lakers and LeBron James are still in it. Don't forget now, they still have $32 million that they can spend now to add 2 players to play with, Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Yeah, certainly a new day in the NBA. Like you said, the Nets and the Clippers having arguably the best offseason in the NBA. Sam Mitchell, appreciate your time. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, guys, thank you. Let's get ready for the upcoming season.
Absolutely. Okay, again, the breaking news tonight, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George headed to play for the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll be here to break it down with you next